Alexander McWeeny, Nadia Montecalvo. After Nadia is Kate Moss. After Kate is Alexander Nagy. How we doing, Sean? You filling them in? Mr. Bannon, you filling them all in? All right, after Alexander Nagy is Lily Oberhauser. Kevin O'Rourke, who I don't think is here. Shaylin O'Sullivan. After Shaylin is Jamie Penna. Zoe Penna. Brandon Perez. Andrew Pezzolano. Andrew, we got him. Lauren Prowse. Joseph Riley. Savannah Roberts. After Savannah is Joseph Sabaris. After Joseph is Darius Saxton. Still have people standing. After Darius is William Simunik. Brennan Smith. Caitlin Spafford after him. Hannah Starner. Abby Stevens. Olivia Tarracone. Caitlin Triano. How are we doing on seats, Mr. Bannon? Allison Chutke. One more. Looks like everyone's waiting for me. What you got left there, Mr. Bannon? All right, go here now, guys. Matthew Trout. Kayla Vaccaro. John Valentini. You guys doing good. You can move that tape, guys. Megan Vansel. Cassandra Vongrage.
Sandy just put it
Lucas
in.
Whelan.
Sandy put it in again.
Abigail Yacano. Gabrielle
We did it
Zonin.
last one.
Who did we miss?
I was surprised too.
Could I have a motion to adjourn the private session meeting, please? Move.
Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. McAvoy.
Yes.
Mr. Marnak.
Yes.
Mr. Schuberger.
Yes.
Mr. Carney. Yes. Mrs. Terrell.
Yes.
Mrs. Downing.
Yes. I'd like to welcome everyone to the May 19th, 2014 Board of Education meeting. Adequate notice of this meeting was forwarded to the Asbury Park Press and the Beacon on January 8th, 2014 by posting the notice in the Forked River Post Office and the Lenoka Harbor Post Office, and by filing a copy of the notice with the Lacey Township Clerk as required by the Open Public Meeting Law. Would you please stand to salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Page 22, could I have a motion that the board approve the minutes and the appropriate attachments of the agenda regular meeting held on April 22nd, 2014?
Move.
Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. McAvoy.
Yes.
Mr. Marnak.
Yes.
Mr. Schuberger.
Yes.
Mr. Carney.
Yes.
Mrs. Terrell.
Abstain. I was absent that meeting.
Mrs. Downing.
Yes. Could I have a motion that the board approve the minutes of the private session held on April 22nd, 2014?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. McAvoy.
Yes.
Mr. Marnak.
Yes.
Mr. Schuberger.
Yes.
Mr. Carney.
Yes.
Mrs. Terrell.
Abstain. I was absent that meeting.
Mrs. Downing.
Yes. Page 40. Could I have a motion to approve payment of bills totaling $6,029,344.47?
Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. McAvoy.
Yes.
Mr. Marnak.
Yes.
Schubager.
Yes.
Mr. Carney. Yes. Mrs. Terrell.
Yes.
Mrs. Downing.
Yes. Could I have a motion through the adoption of this resolution, we, the Lacey Township Board of Education,
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. McAvoy.
Yes.
Mr. Marnak.
Yes.
Mr. Schubager.
Yes.
Mr. Carney. Yes. Mrs. Terrell.
Yes.
Mrs. Downing.
Yes. Mr. Stein, your request? Our student representative comments. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first. I'll
Okay.
start by congratulating all the students that will be recognized tonight. Also, the senior class, senior prom is June 6th. There's also a yearbook signing dinner for all the seniors on June 12th and a breakfast before the graduation day on the 20th. Also, scholarship night is June 3rd for all those that will be receiving scholarships.
Good evening, everybody. As we come to the end of the year, we have our final push, so lots of congratulations. First, I'd like to start off with saying congratulations to the students who will be recognized tonight. The advanced acting, they took a one-act play called Asylum to competition in New Hope, and they took home Best Ensemble. Going over to sports, congratulations to both boys lacrosse and softball for winning first round games in both short conference and state playoff tournaments. Girls lacrosse won B South champions, and girls golf is now the Ocean County champions. Mr. Lacey is this Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Tickets are $5. We have 16 men participating in it. It's going to be a very fun night. Lip Sync is the following week on Tuesday, May 27th, also at 7 o'clock, and also $5. On June 2nd to the 5th, we will be doing practice block days, and that's just to get used to how next year is going to be with the block scheduling. Sports awards are the 4th of June. Academic awards are the 3rd of June. Congratulations to all the teachers of the year. Also, congratulations to Ms. DeFelice, who won the NJASC 25 years as the SJ advisor. And finally, our NJSIAA Scholar Athlete of the Year was given to Eric Reitmeyer. So congratulations to all. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to the Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Brower.
Thank you, President Downing. Good evening, everyone. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Hanshu and ask him to come up to the stage because he has two very important students that he'd like to share with us.
Good evening, everyone. Students, welcome and congratulations to the 300 Club out there. You're doing an excellent job. And what we're going to show you in just a few moments is what you want to aspire to be Senior of the Month. So keep your goals lofty. I may invite the Board of Education, if you guys wouldn't mind moving out of the seats towards the audience. You can put down the screen. Our first recipient, while people are moving around, I'd like to call up is Ben Smith. Just as a little sidebar, Ben, who is, of course, one of our seniors, this week we had a signing ceremony for Rider University for a scholarship for swimming. He's one of the top swimmers in Ocean County, one of the top swimmers in the state of New Jersey. We have a round of applause for Ben once again. Hello, I'm Mr. Hanshu, and welcome to Senior Spotlight May, where we meet our outstanding seniors of the month. Joining me now is Benjamin Smith, who is a gifted in the classroom and in the swimming pool. Ben is a 3-time MVP at the high school on the swim team and holds 5 school records and an Ocean County record in the butterfly. Can you tell us about your love for competitive swimming?
Well, yes, I first started swimming when I was about 10 years old, and I didn't really realize what I had going for me or the potential I could have until about middle school. And then once I reached that point, I started taking swimming a lot more seriously, became more of a hobby to a large part of my life, and that brought me to where I am today.
And you also a lifeguard in the summertime, right?
Yes, I do, and that, is a great asset to my training.
Well, I'm sure people feel safe with you down there. What other extracurricular activities are you involved with?
I'm a member of FBLA, and I'm a treasurer, I believe, in that club, and I do a lot of time with that because I do want to go to school and be involved in the business field. And then also, besides that, I do swim, and I spend a large amount of time involved with that.
That's one of those sports you got to spend a lot of time in the pool if you want to be good at it.
Mhm.
What do you do outside of school?
Well, a large amount of my time is dedicated towards swimming, but besides that, I do enjoy the beach. I lifeguard. I do enjoy surfing year-round, and most of my time outside of school is dedicated to swimming.
Well, that's exceptional. Very good.
Yes.
Okay, what are your future plans?
Next fall, I'll be attending Rider University. I am going there to swim. I plan on majoring in both math and information systems, and with that, I want to pursue a career in actuarial science.
Wow, sounds very impressive.
Thank you very
Congratulations, Ben, on your selection as Senior of the Month. We'll be right back with Morgan Walliser. Next up, I'd like to introduce Morgan Walliser. And Morgan is one of our softball players, and she's very active also, and you'll see this from our next clip. Welcome back to Senior Spotlight May. Now joining us is Senior of the Month, Morgan Walliser. Morgan is involved with a number of sports and activities while maintaining high standards in the classroom and scoring an impressive 4.13 GPA. Morgan, can you tell us about your involvement in school activities here at Lacey?
Here at Lacey, I'm involved in peer mediation, Heroes and Cool Kids, in which we work with younger kids from other schools to make the better decisions. And I'm also part of NHS, in which I'm the tutor chairman.
And I think Heroes and Cool Kids are visiting Mill Pond today, aren't they?
Yes.
Very good. Can you tell us about your involvement in volunteer work in the community?
I'm part of Triborough First Aid Squad out of Seaside, and this year we did a lot with Hurricane Sandy relief, and I kept supplies and stuff in there for them to help.
And I worked with Triborough First Aid in the past as a lifeguard. They're an excellent organization, so congratulations, a good group to be with. What do you do outside of school?
Outside of school, I play softball, so I spend a lot of time at the field and working towards that. And I spend a lot of time with my family. They're a big part of my life.
Family's always good. What are your future plans?
Next year, I'm going to be attending Rutgers Newark, in which I'll be studying pre-med in hopes of becoming a pediatrician. And I'll be in the honors college, and I'll be playing softball there.
Well, someday when I'm a grandfather, I'll make sure you take care of my kids for me. Congratulations, Morgan, your selection of Senior of the Month. That's going to wrap up Senior Spotlight May. We'll see you in June. At this time, I'd like to invite the board back up to their seats. Also, we'd like to recognize our unsung heroes, and Luke Vincentine's here for those presentations.
At this time, I'd like to call up Alice Woodrow. Alice was our April unsung hero, and unfortunately last month she was unable to make it. So you have to recognize her at this meeting. Congratulations. And next up for June, we have Alicia James. Making her way up now. The unsung hero for May is a young lady that can juggle many hats and still maintain good grades. She's an integral part of the Lacey Township High School Music Department, devoting many hours to choir, drama clubs. Her broad spectrum of activities also includes participating on the Lacey Township softball team. She's a kind of caring young lady. She has volunteered her time to work with fellow students that have been out sick for several weeks. With her multitude of activities, she still finds time to help in need. She is a charming, hardworking young lady, and this is why Alicia James is the unsung hero for May 2014. Congratulations.
Thank you. Last month, I invited you to watch our video where we talked about Alice and her accomplishments and why she was recognized last month as an unsung hero. So I'd encourage you to also pick up the superintendent's report, all you can find online, so that you can read each time we are honoring our students. So at this time, I too would like to welcome all of you tonight to what is our favorite board meeting of the year, when we get to recognize so many students and your families. So the first group of students that we'd like to recognize are students who are recipients of the Johns Hopkins program and the awards associated with that and the work that you've done. Johns Hopkins programs identify and develops talents of advanced learners worldwide. And we are so pleased and honored to recognize the hard work that you bring to our school district. We are delighted to recognize you, your hard work, your talent, and your dedication to your education to reach these very high milestones. And at this time, I'd like to turn the microphone over to Dr. Clark, who will assist us in recognizing those students who are here tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Brower. I'm also going to ask Mr. Zielinski, one of our district supervisors, to come up here and assist with medals. And I'm also going to invite Board President Linda Downing up to assist us with certificates. And I'm going to agree with Dr. Brower in that this is one of my favorite times of year where we get to recognize all of the hard work of our students, and judging by the hard work of just getting into alphabetical order tells me that they've certainly, they're well deserving of the recognition that they're going to get tonight, because that was kind of tough, would you say? Yeah, a little complicated? I'm going to add a little bit to the description of the Johns Hopkins recognition that Dr. Brower spoke about. For over 25 years, the Johns Hopkins University Center for Talented Youth has offered services to help our nation's top students excel. The students whose names I'm about to announce were eligible because they each scored advanced proficient on the New Jersey Assessment of Skills and Knowledge, what we affectionately call the New Jersey Ask. And that was a test that they took during the spring of their grade six school year. So we just completed our New Jersey Ask administration. I think everybody in the room, all the students will agree, great sigh of relief that that's over, yes? Would you say? Yeah? Okay. On January 25th, 2014, each of our Johns Hopkins students participated in the SAT, the same SAT that high school students participate in during their junior and senior years. As used by the Johns Hopkins Center for Talented Youth, the SAT provides more information about a child's mathematical and reading verbal strengths. How is this? The SAT establishes a much higher ceiling than the grade level exams children normally take. A child who tests in higher percentiles on the SAT is a very good candidate for more challenging coursework and other modifications to a school curriculum. Such information should have a great impact on the future educational pathways that each of these students takes on, and I have no doubt that we will be hearing these 29 names for many, many years to come until they graduate Lacey Township High School. So please join me in a round of applause in congratulating each one of our Johns Hopkins scholars. So students, as I call your name, if you can come up on stage this way, you can wave out to your parents as you cross the stage and exit on that side. You ready? Our first Johns Hopkins SAT scholar is Aiden Arp. Christopher Balsterski. Emily Brennan. Shelby Burns. Riley Christian. Kyle Decker. Callista Dodaro. Aaron Foreman. Lauren Griga. Hunter Gutierrez. James Kim. Justin Lobb. Jared Latruglio. Alexander Lytle. Victoria Mizeski. Zane Brazick. Ariana Nira. Kevin O'Rourke. Margaret Patterson. Sarah Quigley. Matthew Ramakrishnan. Marnie Reamer. Blake Scanlon. Claudia Schreier. Raina Sokolowski. Hannah Starner. Santo Trapani. Seta Turkoglu. And last but not least, never least, John Valentini Ham. As I mentioned, I have absolutely no doubt that we'll be hearing these 29 names again and again until these students graduate Lacey Township High School. One final round of excellent applause for these students.
Thank you, boys and girls. We are so proud of you. Thank you. Our next group of students that we would like to recognize are those students who received a perfect score on their New Jersey Ask test. Nobody is perfect, unless, of course, you were one of these students that we are about to recognize. Every bubble in the right place, every calculation perfect, every handwritten word outstanding, and a perfect answer to every question. This evening, we recognize students who decided to do their very best. And they didn't have to do that. They could have just gone in and given it average. And they decided to give it their all. They have been able to do something very special. They did something incredible against all testing odds against them. Pressure, anxiety, test fatigue, just to name a few. Administered in the spring of 2013, over 100,000 students in each grade level across New Jersey participate in the test. So over 700,000 students across our state are represented as having total scores, but these students, the ones who are going to walk across this stage tonight, received a perfect score in testing for up to 4 days. So out of all those numbers, 700,000, very few are perfect, but tonight, our students that we recognize tonight were perfect and are perfect. We are so proud of you. You gave it your all, and you came out right on top. Dr. Clark.
Thank you, Dr. Brower. So as Dr. Brower just said, I'm going to add to that a little bit. This year we have a total of 89 students who scored a perfect 300, and that is no small feat. So how about a round of applause just to start that out. So as I mentioned before, these students also just completed the New Jersey ASK testing for spring 2014. So just by a show of hands, students, how many of you are relieved that it's over? Yeah, I would say so. And I'm not a betting person, but I'd be willing to bet that each of them are sitting in their seats right now saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna be here next year receiving the same award, because they're probably that confident that they did just as well. So just by a show of hands, how many of you think you're gonna be here next year receiving the Perfect 300 award? See, I told you. They're very confident. So that's very impressive. So congratulations to all of you, and as we did with our Johns Hopkins students, I'm gonna call each of your names to come up and get a certificate and a Lacey Lion Paw medal. So if you can come up on stage this way, and you can stay up on stage for photos, make sure you wave to your parents. So let's start with Danielle Andrews. Adam Bahushian. Alexia Bove. Melvin Bravo. Gavin Brennan. Emily Brennan. Dale Brewster. Dale Brostow. I'm sorry, Teresa Brostow. Eric Burke. Paul Carluccio. Natalie Cesaretti. Anthony Chen. Fiona Cheng. Andrew Chanik. Liam Clancy. Anthony Cooper. Dylan Danko. Elise Davis. Dylan Del Santro. Gabriella Diekman. Callista Dodaro. Matthew Dolan. Liam Dorsey. Emily Downs. Matthew T. Ulysses. Abigail Elias. Shayna Fairhurst. Sydney Farmer. John Fedlam. Justin Frazee. Abby Frendak. Nicholas Gennardi. Samantha Giordano. Samantha Glover, Hunter Gutierrez, Megan Hanaway, Connor Horn, Julian Howard Fusco, Alexander Hupke, Marissa Ilaria, Julie Keenan, Sean Kelly, Tad Kelly, Trey Kennis, Hunter Kirchner, Joseph Kim, James Kim, Matthew Kuligoski, Julia Kuzan, Alexander Lytle, Robert Malcolm, Jack Mangan, Kelsey McCabe, Matthew McClung, Daniel McClung, Michael McClung, Sean McKenzie, Alexander McWeeny, Nadia Montecava Hussein, Kate Moss, Alexander Nagy, Lily Oberhauser, Kevin O'Rourke, Shaylin O'Sullivan, Jamie Penna, Zoe Penna, Brandon Perez, Andrew Pestilano, Lauren Prouse, Joseph Riley, Savannah Roberts, Joseph Sabarese, Daria Saxton, William Simonuk, Brennan Smith, Caitlin Spafford, Hannah Starner, Abby Stevens, Olivia Terracone, Caitlin Triano, Allison Tripke, Matthew Trout, Kayla Vaccaro, John Valentini Ham, Megan Vansel, Cassandra Von Grej, Lucas Wellen, Abigail Iacono, and Gabriel Zonin. It's always always a great day in Lacey Township when you can barely fit perfection on the stage. Another round of applause.
Thank you, boys and girls, and congratulations again. Thank you. We're so proud of you. Great job.
Okay, you can go back to your
Join your
parents
family.
now.
Yeah.
At this time, we'd like to continue with the rest of our meeting. We can finish the rest of our meeting.
We'd like to move on to the remainder of our meeting, please.
I do want to also recognize, and I know that Mr. Hanshu, if he were here with the microphone, the parents and families of our students of the month, Benjamin Smith and his family, and Morgan Walliser and your family. We want to just take a moment and recognize you. We know that you are a backbone behind all the wonderful things, and it's so delightful to watch your children, our students, talk about their future plans and their successes. So we thank you. So we'd like to continue with the celebration, and I would like to start off by sharing with you that we have our Teachers of the Year in the house, and I would like to congratulate each and every one of them. We can never thank our teachers enough for what they do. Unless we follow them from the start of their day until the end of the day, we could truly never know what their day is like and how hard their work is. So to stand out in the way that they have truly suggests that they bring something special to the classroom. I want to share with you the definition of teacher from Kathleen Turner. She was Teacher of the Year in a neighboring state just this year. And she said that she could have chosen to do anything, any career. And she couldn't decide on just one. What people outside of education don't quite understand is that teacher is a label for those people who have so many talents, they couldn't just decide on only one profession. And so they've decided to become all of them. And it takes less time to say, I am a teacher, than it is to say, I am an actress, I'm an advocate, I'm an anthropologist, an artist, a baker, a bookkeeper, a clown, a coach, a copy repair technician, a counselor, a custodian, a data analyst, a desktop publisher, a detective, a dietitian, a diplomat, an editor, an engineer, a hairdresser, a historian, an interpreter, a journalist, a judge, a lawyer, a librarian, a mathematician, a meteorologist, a musician, a nurse, a painter, a pest controller, a photographer, a police officer, a psychologist, a referee, a reporter, a scientist, a seamstress, a secretary, a security guard, a singer, a social worker, a sociologist, a speechwriter, a statistician, a teammate, a therapist, a tour guide, a translator, a travel agent, and a videographer, and a writer. Teachers do all of those professions every day. So it takes less time to just say, I'm a teacher. To our Teachers of the Year, we congratulate you. We are so proud of you for adding so much pride to our schools, to the schools that you work in, and to the students that you teach. At this time, I'd like to introduce again Mr. Hanshu, who will tell us about our high school Teacher of the Year, and from there, then he will introduce another one of his colleagues as we continue through sharing with our Teachers of the Year. Mr. Hanshu?
Thank you, Dr. Brower. It's my pleasure to present to you the 2014 Lacey Township High School Teacher of the Year, Mr. Maurice Grillon. I know Mr. Grillon's family could not be here tonight. His wife is busy at home with his children, putting them to bed. And that's a good thing, right, Maurice? It's good. They're already in bed when he gets home. Maybe not tonight. Let me share a little history about Mr. Grillon. He joined the staff at Lacey Township High School in 1998. He graduated from Georgetown University and received a bachelor's degree in languages, German, and he has a minor in Hinduism. That's correct, isn't it? I did my research. He studied 1 year in Austria and 1 year in India. By studying these countries, he was able to expand his love for the world languages and his love for the world cultures. As an educator, Mr. Grillon has taken on a leadership role both at the high school and in the middle school. For years, he has traveled to the middle school to teach 8th grade German classes. By doing so, he provides the opportunities for students to enter the high school as German 2 students. Through his expert instruction, Mr. Grillon is able to maintain maximum class sizes here at the high school, and you may ask, why? Is it German? No. Simply put, students love to learn from him, and they love being in his class. If you were to observe one of his classes, you see student-centered learning activities where students gain ownership of the ability to learn and grow. Students are active participants in the class, and Mr. Grillon takes on a role of a coach and a mentor. He is able to create an environment of learning where students can have fun and laugh without sacrificing the rigor and relevance of the world of the languages. This year, Mr. Grillon was an instrumental part of the block scheduling adoption at the high school. He aided in presenting the block schedule proposal to the Board of Education to the public just several months ago. He also proposed a new elective for next year called linguistics. This course, of course, is one of the most popular courses for our students enrolling next year. Mr. Grillon truly is a gifted professional who makes a difference in the learning and lives of our students. What makes Lacey Township High School such a great place, you may ask? It is because we have staff members like Mr. Grillon. Congratulations for being Lacey Township High School Teacher of the Year. You are truly an excellent and exceptional teacher.
On behalf of the Board of Education, we want to congratulate you and thank you for all your dedication.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for your support.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Brower, for allowing us to introduce our Teacher of the Year. I'd like to introduce to you Mr. King, Principal of Lacey Township Middle School.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to call up Lacey Township Middle School's Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Peggy Shull. Mrs. Shull graduated Old Dominion University and then taught in Virginia for 14 years. We were lucky enough to bring her back to New Jersey, where she taught the middle school for 25 years. She started as a computer teacher and then moved graciously to the role of a counselor, where I was lucky enough to spend the last 6 years of my life working with her. When I say she's a true companion in the main office, it goes much deeper than that. She's there for everybody. She is a student counselor. But when the phone rings, it's rarely a student. It's the parents who have a concern, a question. The transition to the middle school is never easy. She puts them at ease. When a student comes down with the crisis of middle school, the girl doesn't like me, the boy does like me, whatever the crisis may be, she's there to work with them. I've seen her play many roles as the counselor, from the caring, nurturing, gentle, kind, soft-spoken counselor that we all know and love, to the hard-edged, get your things in order, it's time to strap your boots on tighter, pass your classes, do the right thing, make the right choices. She has them all down pat, and it comes from her heart. And it's with a warm feeling of joy and happiness that I present the Lacey Township Middle School Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Peggy Shull.
On behalf of the Board of Education, we want to congratulate you and thank you for everything. And I have no personal accounts, you do have a heart in the biggest world.
apologize to the board in my energy to spend as much time with Mrs. Scholl. I forgot to introduce Mrs. Ann Taylor, the representative from the Mill Pond School.
Thank you, Mr. King. It's my great pleasure to introduce Mrs. Christina Hayes, Mill Pond Elementary School's Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Hayes has been a teacher with us for 11 years, and she currently teaches 5th grade at Mill Pond. She's joined here tonight with her husband, Brian, and her 3 children and her mom. So, welcome to your family. I'd like to recognize the family because teaching takes so many hours. It's not possible to be a teacher of the year and to do as much as you do without the support of your family. To move on with that, Mrs. Hayes is an active participant in a broad range of activities at Mill Pond School. In implementing professional learning communities this year, she participated in and contributed to English language arts, science, and math committees. She serves as the chess club advisor, and she's also an after-school stretch instructor. She also served as the summer STEM advisor, working with our 4th grade students transitioning into 5th grade at Mill Pond. She's a big supporter of the PTA. She played in our volleyball tournament. She also participated in our Ritas and Let's Yo fundraisers. She also was a presenter at our district's first It's Elementary Parent Night, sharing her expertise in math and everything that she's implementing with the Envision Math program. Something that's also very important to me, Mrs. Hayes contributes to a positive school culture at our school. She's a member of the Reflection Committee, the Holiday Giving Tree, the Scholarship Committee, and the Sunshine Committee. I could go on, but we were asked to keep our comments brief. I'm sure that I'm missing quite a few things that she does. However, I have to say the most important work that Mrs. Hayes does is in the classroom. She too, like many of our recipients tonight, focuses on student-centered learning. She's done a lot of work this year integrating technology into what she does on a regular basis in the classroom. She's been using the Chromebooks for the students to perform research, to do web quests, and take advantage of the many learning games that are available out on the internet. She, along with her 5th grade team, have implemented many high-interest projects this year, such as our first Inventor Fair and our Mexican market, open market. She also was a big part of our first Literacy Day at Mill Pond School, participating in the committee and coming back at night and hosting, along with her partner teacher, open mic night in the cafeteria, which was a big hit for all. And lastly, she mentored a student teacher this year. And as a supervisor, that's really, really important to me that you were able to share your love of teaching and all of the activities and everything that you do with a student teacher to give back and inspire someone who's going into the field. Dr. Kopak couldn't be here tonight, but on behalf of him and the entire Mill Pond staff, I wanted to say congratulations and thank you for all that you do.
And on behalf of the entire Board of Education, Mrs. Hayes, congratulations and thank you for your dedication.
Next, I'd like to welcome Mr. Brewer, principal of Lenoka Harbor School.
Good evening, everybody, and congratulations to all of our Teachers of the Year. I am honored to introduce the Lenoka Harbor School's Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Christine Anderson. As she comes up, I'll give you a little background about her and her family life. Mrs. Anderson was born in Linden, New Jersey, to Bob and Carol Deere. She's the oldest of 3 children, followed by her brother Gil and his sister Audrey. Mrs. Anderson graduated from Toms River High School North and then attended Georgian Court College, where she earned her degree in education. Mrs. Anderson began teaching here in Lacey in 1987 at the middle school, which is now known as the Mill Pond. She also taught at Forked River School and has instructed the 1st through the 8th grade. Currently, Mrs. Anderson is teaching the 1st grade at Winoka Harbor Elementary. The depth of Mrs. Anderson's professional knowledge and her ability can be seen easily in her classroom. She takes the time to learn about each and every student, more than just in the classroom, but also in their outside lives. That way, she can tailor the instruction to each individual student's needs. Mrs. Anderson truly is one of the most humble people I've ever encountered, but equally tenacious when it comes to the efforts and dedication that she provides to the children in her care and throughout the district. Mrs. Anderson's efforts and dedication extend beyond the classroom. She can often be found creating sets for the school play, creating artistic backgrounds for our choral performances, or dressing up and bringing a storybook carried to life during literacy night at the school. Throughout the course of her career, Mrs. Anderson has touched the lives of hundreds of children and their families. Perhaps in no greater way, though, than this year, where one of her students early on in the year did not readily speak, but yet began whispering in Mrs. Anderson's ear. And because of her kind nature and her encouragement, she's now having daily conversations and communication with people throughout the building. Tonight, we are joined by Mrs. Anderson's mother, Carol, her husband, Steve, her children, Scott, Seth, and Jill, as we honor her. And on behalf of the entire Winoka family, past and present, I want to congratulate Mrs. Anderson on being selected as the 2014 Winoka Harbor School Teacher of the Year.
Education, we want to congratulate you, and you are the epitome of a first-grade teacher, right down to the dot and the I. Congratulations.
I'd now like to introduce the principal of Forked River School, Mr. Eric Fiedler.
Dr. Brower, Dr. Clark, ladies and gentlemen of the board, good evening, and good evening to everyone in the audience. I am honored to introduce the Forked River School's 2014 Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Heather Opacity. Mrs. Opacity was born in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and is a graduate from Archbishop Wood High School. She went on to earn her Bachelor of Arts degree in Criminal Justice from the College of New Jersey. Mrs. Opacity worked in the banking industry after college. After getting married to her husband, Matt, and having 2 children, Matt and Lindsay, Mrs. Opacity found her true calling when she began substitute teaching within Lacey Township School District. Mrs. Opacity promptly returned to college to earn her elementary teaching certification and pursued her newfound passion. Presently, Mrs. Opacity teaches 2nd grade at the Forked River School. She prides herself on providing her students with an academically rigorous, team-oriented learning environment where her students feel safe, valued, and well cared for. She strives to develop innovative, differentiated instruction opportunities that serve to meet her students' varied academic abilities as well as their social and emotional needs. Mrs. Opacity's strong work ethic and dedication to the profession extends beyond her instructional responsibilities. She supports our school-wide initiatives through her participation in our Family Literacy Fair, Science Lab with Dad Night, Family Math Night, NJS Pep Rally, and of course is a member of the Forked River School's championship volleyball team. Thank you. Thank you. In addition, Mrs. Opacity serves on the planning committees for both Career Day and Mare, and is the PTA teacher liaison who attends all of our monthly PTA meetings in the evenings. Mrs. Opacity has been quoted as saying, "It is important to provide each and every student the opportunity to learn by embracing their challenges and celebrating their accomplishments, along with developing a strong parent-teacher relationship." Mrs. Opacity is joined tonight by her husband, Matt, her son, Matt Jr., and her daughter, Lindsay. Wave, everybody. On behalf of all past and present students and staff members of the Forked River School, congratulations, Mrs. Opacity, for being named the Forked River School's 2014 Teacher of the Year.
Seems like the theme tonight is the heart. Everybody's coming up here with this big, strong heart. Congratulations, and thank you for everything you've done.
And I'm proud to introduce my colleague from the Cedar Creek School, Mrs. Renuska.
Thank you, Mr. Fiedler. I'd like to invite Mrs. Jennifer Bentley to the stage. Heart is what separates the good from the great. Mrs. Jennifer Bentley has heart and a passion for her craft, teaching. I'm pleased and proud to introduce to you Mrs. Bentley as the Cedar Creek School 2014 Teacher of the Year. Mrs. Bentley is joined tonight by her husband Matt, her son Danny, her daughter Jessica, her parents Roy and Jean, co-workers, as well as friends from Cedar Creek. Mrs. Bentley was born and raised in Lacey Township. She is a graduate of Lacey High School, the class of 1990. She went on to earn her bachelor's degree in elementary education from Glassboro State and went on to earn a master's degree in education from Mary Grove College. She is currently teaching second grade. I've known Jen and her family for many years as we grew up just a few blocks from one another. She is dedicated to this community, to her students, and to our school system. I speak to you about Jen not only as her principal and an educational leader, but as a parent. She has always been one of my daughter's favorite teachers, and I thank you for that. Mrs. Bentley is very involved in our school's learning community. She is a leader amongst her colleagues. She is our scholarship chairperson, our blood drive co-chair, the Lacey Township Education Association representative, and a pride chairperson. She is also the member of our Lend a Hand and Spirit committees, and she has played on our Cedar Creek two-time championship volleyball team, and is also one of our district's academic bowl advisors. Outside of school, Jen is a manager and coach of 2 Lacey Soccer Club teams. She is also on the Lacey Soccer Club Board of Trustees and is a Girl Scout leader. They say that some succeed because they are destined to, but most succeed because they are determined to. And I believe that this describes Mrs. Bentley personally and defines her teaching style. Her students are held to a higher standard, to believe in what they can achieve. And she teaches determination and never has given up on a student, but encourages each and every one. Anyone who encourages intellectual, emotional, artistic, or spiritual growth is worth keeping, and don't ever let them go. Mrs. Bentley's a keeper. On behalf of the Cedar Creek School family, I'm honored to congratulate Mrs. Bentley for being our Cedar Creek School's 2014 Teacher of the Year.
She's crying. On behalf of the entire Board of Education, we congratulate you and thank you. And once again, another heart.
And before our Teachers of the Year leave the auditorium, I think it would be fitting to do one more thing before this part of the program is over. Dr. Brower mentioned a very long list of all of the jobs that teachers do, and there are many. We don't just call them teachers, we call them many things, as Dr. Brower mentioned. And I think it would be very fitting to have all of the families of our Teachers of the Year stand up, because we know that without the support of our families, our children, our parents, aunts, uncles, whoever we call family, being the teachers that you all are would not be possible. So can we have the families of all of our Teachers of the Year stand up for recognition as well? And finally, Teachers of the Year, stand up and join them. Congratulations, well earned, well deserved.
So we'd like to continue, but normally at this time, President Downing invites our students to head home because they have homework. So at this time, I would like to ask both the teachers and administrators, certainly you are welcome to stay, but I do know that you have homework too, and an early start for the morning. So it's a great time during this very brief intermission. If you would like to head home and start your homework, Mr. Hanshu is the first one out of the Good night. So I'd like to continue at this time in just a few more minutes. The superintendent's report is a highlight for us each month when we get to share all of the wonderful things happening in our school. At Forked River School, again, Mr. Friedler lists all of our students of distinction, but particularly this month, I'd like to take a moment and congratulate our students who participated in the Ocean County Math League and Mrs. Kamaligan for organizing their participation this year. I also want to point out the explanation about the Drama Club's performance this year called Rumors, and it was a play that is designed to teach our students about the devastating social effects of rumors in a fun and creative way. And lastly, I had an opportunity, and I know many, many people did, to attend the concert. 130 students, 3rd and 4th grade chorus members, performed just an amazing repertoire of song. So I congratulate Forked River for just an outstanding month of student celebration and achievement. At Cedar Creek, Principal Renesco also lists her students of the month, and this month identified Juliet Slota as my county poster, 3rd place winner of the county. An interesting program at Cedar Creek this month was the Chain of Loyalty program, headed by a variety of staff members, and was able to create a chain of suggestions on how students can show loyalty to each other, and that was displayed around the school in 2nd grade. So great job there. At Forked River, again, a list of all of our students of the month from Principal Brewer, and 37 students, he referred to them as math-loving 4th grade students who participated in the Ocean County Math League. Congratulations to them, and particularly their work with Earth Day. Again, we had an opportunity to share that celebration of Earth Day, as well as bid farewell to Mrs. Bond and Mr. Doria on their new life in retirement. And lastly, at Lenoka Harbor, the Invention Convention winners, Casey Konaki on her geometry pencil, Katie Patterson on her allergy sensor, and Anthony Cooper on cheeky muffs, all inventions that they have designed, and they are competing at the regionals as well. Congratulations and good luck to you. I also want to take a moment and recognize Ms. Mascufo's kindergartners and Mrs. Martinak's 4th grade students. They participated in the Barnegat Blitz. Bay Blitz rather, and that is really a partnership where our students and teachers get involved in a community effort to help clean the bay, and I know that that's a very, very worthwhile and life-learning experience for them. I also want to recognize the Lenoka Harbor, the Math Facts competition, and the Geography Challenge, and the Black Belts in Recorder Karate, so congratulations. At Mill Pond, Lots of work happening there as well. Dr. Kopak shared with us our Students of the Month to be recognized there. I also want to take a moment, as Dr. Kopak did, to thank the enormous contributions of the Mill Pond PTA this month for their field trips and sound system. We could not do that without you, so thank you again. Beauty and the Beast was a production held in April, and it is referred to as a dynamic performance. Also want to thank Lacey Lodge number 2518 for their dinner and award ceremony recognizing the Americanism essay contest winners Justin Luca, Brandon D'Angelo, and Kayla Castigliola. Great job there. At the middle school, Principal King shared with us not only his Students of the Month that were selected for the Pride program, but also the Elks Americanism essay contest as well. And he had students taking first, second, and third place: Keith Apostolos, Justin Meeman, and Caitlin Hughes. And I want to take a moment and talk about the Robotics Club program under the guidance of Kyle Diefenbaugh and Michael Howout. The Robotics Club advisors for that program, they have taken their work to a new level with a performance at the state regional competition at Rowan, and that team placed first in engineering, design, purpose, and fluency in their program, and second place for overall in designing their underwater robot. An outstanding job there. Lastly, we sent lots of chess masters to the Christopher M. Blausen chess tournament on April 15th. And this tournament is held annually to recognize and remember a very special young man, Christopher, who loved to play chess and inspired hundreds and hundreds of our students to play. We are pleased to announce that this year Lacey took home first, second, and third place trophies in the third, fourth tournament, and second and third in the fifth, sixth tournament. So we want to recognize Matthew McWeeny from Cedar Creek, who took first place. Thank you for bringing that trophy home. And Quinn Reamer from Lenoka Harbor placed second, Lexi Lopez and Connor Collins third place. Lexi's from Lenoka and Connor's from Forked River. Trophies also were taken home by Peter Vandenwerf from Mill Pond, placed second, and Rebecca Finnegan, who placed third from Mill Pond. And second place in their division, Anthony Constantino, Jaden Smith, and Patrick Miller. I want to send a very special thank you to the Blausen family for sponsoring this wonderful event. Mrs. Price for all of her efforts, and of all the staff. It is an amazing program and certainly brings Christopher's memory to us every time we pick up a chess piece. So, President Downing, that concludes my remarks for the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Well, they were all good remarks. It was a good evening. Thank you. Okay, at this time, board committee reports. No finance. How about policy? Is there a policy? No. I do have a report for curriculum. I'll make it as brief as I can. The meeting took place on April 28th. In attendance were Sean Giordano, Maureen Torella, Dr. Brower, Dr. Clark, and myself. The first thing we discussed was the STEM program. The committee received updated information about the middle and high school STEM program. Previously, the committee discussed the STEM Academy program that is currently being implemented in both the middle school and the high school. Student interest in this program is increasing, necessitating the need for placement criteria. The STEM committee met to develop placement criteria for grades 8 through 12. The committee also reviewed a 5-year plan for the STEM Academy. The 5-year plan is still under construction, but will serve as a PowerPoint presentation for both students and parents in mid-May. The 5-year plan will include information about the program's mission, placement criteria, and minimum performance objectives, grades that students should maintain to continue in the program. Do we have a date for that?
I don't
No?
know.
Okay. We also approved a textbook adoption for our ESL program. It's a purchase of a new K through 12 ESL resource series, National Geographic Reach series, and that adoption will serve all our ESL in K through 12. We also talked about the Ocean County Jumpstart program with our high school partnership. The committee received an update on the progress and tentative implementation timeline of the Ocean County College Jumpstart program. And We also spent quite a time, Dr. Brower gave us an update on the redesign of the SAT. The new SAT will be introduced to the students in the spring 2016. We also talked about real-time webinars. The committee discussed a new webinar series that will be introduced on the district website for parents. The first of the series, Parent Portal Online Training, has already been posted, and parents received an automated call from Mr. England, our technology teacher coordinator. So I hope many of you get to go on that to check that out. And then we approved 3 out-of-state travel trips, grade 6, well actually 2, grade 6 to the Philadelphia Zoo, and the high school band going to Washington, D.C. And that is it. Moving on, residents of the community. It's hard to see from here, so if you want to come up and speak, kind of wave your hand so we can see you. Seeing none, we'll move on to board comments. Can I start with, who's on the end? Mrs. McAvoy, would you like to start tonight?
Thank you. Tonight was a wonderful meeting celebrating all the successes of the students. Congratulations to the unsung heroes, the seniors of the month, especially Ben. I've watched you grow up and be around, and now you're a mature young man. I'm very proud of you and looking forward to come watching you swim at Ryder next year. I'd like to congratulate Eric Reitmeyer. Yesterday he went to Edison and he represented our high school as the NJSIAA Scholar Athlete. So that's a wonderful honor and we're very proud of him. And in addition to all the successes we've had here tonight, there's 2 students that just recently graduated a few days ago that did attend Lacey Township High School and graduated in 2010. Roger Hobson just graduated with honors from East Carolina University, and he'll be starting medical school in August. So that's a wonderful accomplishment. And Alexandra Hansen just graduated with honors with a BS in nursing from Catholic University on a Navy ROTC scholarship. She's now a commissioned officer as an ensign in the Navy Nurse Corporation. So wonderful successes from former students. And I'm just looking forward to all the events going on at the end of the year and helping celebrate the volunteer recognition tomorrow, the academic night, scholarship night, and recognizing all the people that are graduating and all the wonderful honors. That's it. Thank you, President Downing.
You're welcome. Thank you. Mr. Shoemaker?
Thanks, President Downing. I think tonight sort of is a great illustration of the real core of what makes our district move along and do so well. Tonight we had family and friends here. We had teachers getting honored, and we had, of course, students getting honored. Sometimes we get that at other meetings, but tonight, as others have already mentioned, it really is highlighted. And I think we all need to take a step back and remember that what goes into success in life, or greatness for that matter, are those 3 things. It starts with family and a good foundation and support at home, whether it's family or friends. And then it goes to the teachers in the school community who need to really care, and we saw that tonight. And although those 2 things are really, really important, what matters most in the end is the student. And tonight, in my opinion, we saw students who have made a choice. And in some cases, we saw perfection. And I'll get back to that in a second. But for whatever they were honored for tonight, it's because at a young age, they've made a choice that they want to be great. And sometimes it may sound like an easy choice to make. Everybody wants to be great. But I think we've all experienced sometimes it can be tough to want to be great. Maybe people are afraid to fail. People are afraid to put in the effort, to be enthusiastic about being great. But these kids have shown they've made that choice. and you need to have the effort and the enthusiasm to be successful in anything you do. And that's the part of this whole night that I'm most impressed with about these young people, is that they've made that choice. There's adults that are still deciding whether or not they're going to choose to be great. So on that note, I'm really proud of the students. And back to the perfection, to have a stage full of kids that were perfect at something. There's millions of people that would love to be perfect at anything for just 1 second and are never perfect. So for these students to be perfect when they're 9, 10, 11, whatever they are here, don't be mistaken. To the students, my message is it's pretty great to be perfect once in a while. It's just one time to be perfect, so don't ever forget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schubager. Mr. Farnum?
Thank you, President Downing. Maybe May ought to be called Shining Star Night, because they all came out tonight. Congratulations to everybody from our Students of the Month, the John Hopkins winners, the New Jersey Ask, and especially the Teachers of the Year. It's people like these that make this a great community. And our stars will keep coming out from now until June 20th through different award ceremonies. So keep an eye out for some other great stars down the road. Thank you very much, Mrs. Downing.
Thank you. Mr. Marnak?
Thank you, President Downing. I too would like to congratulate all the students that were recognized tonight, our Students of the Month and the Unsung Hero, but in particular our Johns Hopkins Scholars and our Perfect 300 scorers on the Ask. For those two groups, the future bodes well. The students that are working hard, performing hard, or performing well, we're going to see them back up here in middle school and high school and scholarship night and award night, and we're going to hear good things about them in the future after they leave Lacey High School. I also would like to congratulate our Teachers of the Year. I'd like to thank them for their hard work and their dedication, because it's their efforts along with those of their colleagues that makes this district successful. So we greatly appreciate their efforts, and we acknowledge their selection as Teachers of the Year. It's a very competitive process, never easy. I know the board's been part of the process. It's never an easy choice. I also attended the Christopher Blozen chess tournament, had the opportunity to umpire a table for a while. Got stumped a couple times, had to call in help from the chess masters. But it's a great tournament, brings in students from other districts, and our elementary school students get to compete against the best chess players in the elementary schools that surround us here. And once again, we did very well in Lacey, and I'd like to thank the Blozen family for hosting that, and Mrs. Price for coordinating it. It really gives a group of children a very unique experience that they may not have an opportunity to experience just through the normal rec programs or sport programs or that kind of thing in town. So once again, it was a great event. I also too want to follow up like Mrs. McAvoy just on two of our graduates. About 7 years ago, we started implementing a STEM program here, and we talk about STEM quite a bit. And 6 years ago, we signed an educational partnership agreement with the Navy up at Lakehurst. And that next year, we identified our first two seniors to enroll in a program where they had a co-op job during the summer and at Christmas breaks while they went to school for engineering. And the first one, Kristen Doran, graduated last year from the University of Maryland and is working as an engineer at the Navy base, working on the visual landing aid systems that guide Navy and Marine Corps aviators to ships at sea. The second one didn't follow the same path. She went to Embry-Riddle for a year, and then she left Embry-Riddle, but it was for a very good reason. She was accepted to the United States Naval Academy at Annapolis. Her name is Marissa Roberts. I've been following her online, and she's been making the Commandant's List, which is the Dean's List, every semester. And this Friday, she'll graduate from Annapolis and be commissioned as an ensign in the U.S. Navy and head off to flight school in Pensacola, Florida. So I just want to congratulate those two young ladies who are following their dreams in a technical field. And that's all that I have this evening, President Downing.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Marnak. Mrs. Torella?
Boy, where to start? I mean, it's just impressive. I hope every student realizes when they're having a bad day, when they think they can't get it. My son came home and said, that was the worst New Jersey AST test I've ever seen. I failed it. So I just want every child to realize there's hope. You heard about from the John Hopkins Scholars all the way up to the Seniors of the Month and the Unsung Heroes. There's a place in this district for you to shine. I mean, even if you have a bad day, don't lose hope. There's another opportunity around the corner. It's just so impressive. So I just, again, congratulations to all the students. And it was also very impressive to see all the families, not only here for the Teachers of the Year, but also for our students that we were honoring. So it was great to see the little ones up to the grandparents here. So I felt like we had the whole community here tonight celebrating. And it's kind of just the beginning of our celebration. On May 28th at 7 p.m., we're going to be back here in the auditorium for the scholarship awards. And over 100 scholarships will be honored. Will be handed out. So that's another impressive night. And it's a way to see how our seniors have succeeded and are being supported in their college career and being given some financial assistance to do so. That's always impressive to me, to see just the breadth of scholarships, but also how well so many of these students do. So it's a very exciting night. Please come and attend that. In regard to the teachers, what an impressive group. One of my sons signed up for German in high school, and I said, German? German's really, really hard. I tried to talk him out of it, but now I understand why he signed up for German. Because I understand that our Teacher of the Year, Mr. Grillon, has a big following in the middle school and in the high school. So I understand how excited he is to try German. He's much braver than I. And all the teachers, just how impressive they are. And what you realize that our teachers don't just work from 8 to 4. They work day and night. Did you hear all the committees and all the ways they participate and all the events they're at with parents in the evening? So it is a day and night job, just not a day job. I'd like to give a special shout out to Mrs. Peggy Scholl. She's retiring this year. I know many of us up here on the board who have older children. Our children have gone probably through her office doors. She's held a lot of our hands. I think she held a lot of the parents' hands more than the children. 7th and 8th grade can be very tough on parents and kids. So I thank her for her dedication. I thank her for answering all the phone calls and taking all the meetings and making sure that the parents knew it was going to be all right, because the kids already understood it was going to be all right. So I thank her for her dedication, and it's a big loss that she's retiring this year. Thank you, President Downing.
Thank you, and I'm going to make my comments short because I'll be redundant after all the comments, but I think Mr. Carney said it right. This is the night of shining stars from our sports teams right up to our students of the month, our John Hopkins. And you know, I'm sitting here as a building principal, and I'm looking at all these students that got a 300 on their New Jersey Ask. And if anyone actually would be able to see what that test looks like, they are hard. They are really hard. The writing component, what they have to write, what they have to read, the math, forget it. It's so difficult. And I'm sitting here shaking all these children's hands, and I'm thinking, they got a 300 in science and math and language arts. So I'm so impressed. And I want to congratulate the whole district on that accomplishment, not just the children, but all the hard work of all the teachers and the parents. And it was so nice to see so many people here tonight. So congratulations to everybody, our Teachers of the Year, our students, our sports team, everyone. Okay, and now we're going to move on to new business. So page 42, items A through I.
Move.
Just let me clarify as to item G. Golf.
I was thinking Goofy. Disney.
Which is on page 50.
Okay.
And the regulation for first reading 2361 has a choice to be selected, and the intention of the policy committee and this motion is that the first choice is selected, which reads, designated school district personnel may establish an internet site and sites on the World Wide Web or other internet locations. Such sites shall be administered and supervised by designated school district personnel who shall ensure
the content of the site complies with federal, state, and local laws and regulations, as well as board policies and regulations. And that language is consistent with the already existing Regulation 2361.
Thank you. Good.
Need a second.
We need, okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. McAvoy.
Yes.
Mr. Marnak.
Yes.
Mr. Schuberger.
Couple questions. Mr. Savage, item B, district taxes.
Yes.
The schedule that is here, is that consistent with how the township has given us back our money to the school in the past? And
Yeah.
has there been any issues with them making their payments back to the school district?
On occasion, they'll call me and ask me to adjust the schedule, but this has been pretty consistent over the years.
What would be a reason why they would call to adjust the schedule?
Not enough tax money coming into the coffers.
Oh, okay. All right. But you're comfortable with this schedule as the business administrator, so,
Yes,
okay.
it's been this way for quite a long time.
Thank you. And I'm going to vote no on item G, but I'm going to vote yes on the remainder.
No on G.
No on G.
Mr. Carney.
Yes.
Mrs. Torello.
Yes.
Mrs. Downing.
Yes. Page 52, item 2, donations. I'm going to read our donations first, then I'll ask for a motion. We want to thank Mr. Craig Thibault from the Ocean County Shade Tree Commission for an Arbor Day tree donated to Lenoka Harbor for a value of $125. We'd like to thank Dr. Joseph and Michelle Laverty from Parkside Dental. They donated an outdoor classroom pond repair, new equipment kit, and supplies to Cedar Creek Elementary for a value of $350. And we have a donation check from General Mills Box Tops to Mill Pond for $954.30. Could I have a motion to approve and accept these donations?
Move. Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. McAvoy.
Yes.
Mr. Marnak.
Yes.
Mr. Schuberger.
Yes, and thank you so much for your donations.
Mr. Carney.
Yes.
Mrs. Torello.
Yes.
Mrs. Downing.
Yes. Item 3, programs and curriculum. Could I have a motion for item A?
Move. Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. McAvoy.
Yes.
Mr. Marnak.
Yes.
Mr. Schuberger.
Yes.
Mr. Carney.
Yes.
Mrs. Torello.
Yes.
Mrs. Downing.
Yes. Item 4, professional days. Could I have a motion, please?
Yes. I'll move. I was ahead
Is
of
there a
myself.
second? Is there any? Thank you. Roll call?
Mrs. McAvoy.
Yes.
Mr. Marnak.
Yes.
Mr. Schuberger.
Yes.
Mr. Carney.
Yes.
Mrs. Torello.
Yes.
Mrs. Downing.
Yes. Item 5 is use of facilities. Could I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. McAvoy.
Yes.
Mr. Marnak.
Yes.
Mr. Schuberger.
Yes.
Mr. Carney.
Yes.
Mrs. Torello.
Yes.
Mrs. Downing.
Yes. Item 6, page 54, certificated personnel. Could I have a motion, please?
Move. Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. McAvoy.
Yes.
Mr. Marnak.
I will vote yes, but abstain on the Lenoka Harbor listings of item C and H.
Mr. Schuberger.
I'm going to abstain on the Forked River School section of item H and vote yes on the remaining items.
Mr. Carney.
Yes.
Mrs. Torello.
Yes.
Mrs. Downing.
I will abstain on the middle school section, page 64 to 65, and vote yes for the remainder of the section.
Okay.
Okay? Moving on to page 68. 7, support non-certificated staff personnel. Could I have a motion, please?
Move. Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. McAvoy.
Yes.
Mr. Marnak.
Yes.
Mr. Schubager.
I'm going to vote yes, and I'm going to abstain on item B, and then vote yes on the remaining items.
Mr. Carney.
Yes.
Mrs. Terrell.
Yes.
Mrs. Downing.
Yes. Are there any other additional items added to the agenda? No. Seeing none, do I have a motion for adjournment?
Move.
Second?
All in favor?